This is Maintenance and Manufacturing Insights, hosted by Martin Angser, bringing you straight conversations with the people keeping machines running and production moving.
Well, hey, welcome back to the show. I'm sitting here with Josiah, and we're talking about some glass today. So, speaking of, Josiah, how about you introduce yourself, how to get a hold of you, your LinkedIn account or something, and then where you work.
Yeah, Josiah Peterson. I work at Oldcastle Building Envelope. We do glass manufacturing. You can get a hold of me on LinkedIn. Just search for Josiah Peterson, should get you there. Phone number 480-549-9692 is my work number. If we're doing basically what we wind up doing, my job's the maintenance manager. I go ahead and take care of all the equipment that makes the glass happen. So we get big sheets of glass that are manufactured from an outside company. We go ahead and bring them in on a gantry system that'll lift 5 tons worth of glass.
Wow.
Sets it down. We go ahead and cut it to the sizes for the customer at that point. And then we run it through the process where we got our cutting tables that we got to work on. We got insulated glass system that we work on. We have tempering for like your shower doors and stuff that we do. We have grinders and water jets and stuff that my guys work on. Some of the challenge.
You do glass for everybody. I mean, not just for commercial. You do residential. You just do glass for anybody and everybody.
I don't think we do automotive.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That narrows. Yeah, okay.
Residential, commercial.
Right.
But if you got a house that you're wanting it done on, we do that. If you got a industrial building or something along them lines that you're building, we do that. We actually supplied the glass for the Raider Stadium in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's cool.
When that was getting built and installed, it all came out of the Phoenix plant.
Oh, wow.
So there's quite a bit of it that we go ahead and do on that end of it. I mean, the team that we currently have there, we go ahead and get a lot of stuff done fairly easy, mostly because some of the parts we've gotten readily available. There's others that it's a struggle to get. It just depends on manufacturer and stuff like that, because a lot of our equipment was put in 5-10 years ago, and some of those parts aren't made anymore. Some of them aren't available. Some of them are available, just not available in the US.
Yeah.
So there winds up being difficulties on getting the parts sometimes.
Supply is always a hassle. I mean, and I think that's across the board for anybody and everybody. It's just nobody wants to hold stock anymore. So, everybody's doing skeleton, not just skeleton crew, but they're also doing skeleton inventory. So trying to get parts on a whim or quickly is, I think those days have done past since COVID.
No, it's all last minute delivery. Get it just on time. Never stock it ahead of time. That's the dream. And then all it takes is a car crash down the road and everything's late.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I need that part yesterday. Hurry up and get it to me as soon as possible. And then, you're sitting there waiting. And sorry, production is production. You wait till the last minute. We try to get people all the time with the same scenario. When they have their CNC machines or whatever else. Recommendation is always have one in the background, just so that way you can replace and not be down and not have any downtime. And that investment is too much. So it's like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, we do fairly well at getting most of the parts in, because we have a lot of local vendors that we can use. Mm-hmm. A lot of my electrical parts, the ones that we have, were originally manufactured in like 2019. I just take them out to industrial repairs, get them fixed, bring them back, put them back in again, because a lot of them you can fix the smaller components. It's tough to figure out where all of your sites are locally that can do that, because there's some places that you don't have a local guy that can go ahead and do that. I mean, I have the advantage in Phoenix. There's a lot of industry here. There's a lot of different options.
Big city.
But like if I was working in, like where I moved down from up in Morton, Washington, if I was still working there, I mean, it was 50, 60 minutes just to get to the closest Walmart. So you're not going to find those parts real quick. And the guy that can
I know that. I live in Oklahoma, small town Oklahoma. So it's yeah, for me to come, even if for just I forgot my milk or some eggs, it's a 20 to an hour minute ordeal just to go run into town and grab it and then drive all the way back home. So it's
And now for a capacitor for an AC unit that's like 20 years old.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah. So how'd you get into, I mean, so you're working with glass and everything at this point. I mean, how'd you fall into doing the job that you do nowadays?
I was born and raised on a dairy farm, so you kind of had to figure out how to fix everything yourself anyway, because it was in that isolated, away from everybody type of scenario. Yep. I spent, from the time that I graduated for a little over a decade after that, living in a small logging community. Okay. So that made it so that everything was far away, so you kind of had to figure out how to fix it all yourself there too. When I moved to the Phoenix area from Washington State, I wound up going through a bunch of different jobs. And then I got in at Amazon. And while I was there, I transitioned from basically one of their entry-level employees into maintenance at that point. And part of that I was able to do because of my experience in the sawmills when I lived in the logging industry. Logging industry, everybody, especially in the sawmills, everybody gets familiar with lockout tagout programs. So having that familiarity was something that the majority of basically my competition in Phoenix at Amazon didn't have that portion of the experience. So that kind of got me into maintenance. And then Amazon was real good about having a lot of on-site, on-the-job training that you could go ahead and do that they started rolling out. That helped progress my career and get up to lead technician while I was there. Ultimately, after leaving there, I went and worked at the recorder office, helping them troubleshoot in Maricopa County for a year. Decided that definitely wasn't going to be something that I wanted to do long-term, not very political. After that, I went and worked I started doing my own business running, making some basically remodeling houses and decks and stuff like that for a while. And while I was doing that, I was getting in arguments with the girlfriend that was the mother of my kids that I'm married to finally now. But the arguments were all based around whether or not I had a boss. So
if never mind, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but I'm sure you're thinking it.
I wound up immediately just going like, okay, so you want me to have a boss, then I'll go get one. And I went and applied at this company, JBS, because they had the now hiring sign out and got the job there. So I immediately had a boss again. And then she really didn't like it when I was working there because meat industry, you wind up going 12-hour days, 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. You're at work more than you're at home type of stuff. She wasn't liking that very much.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I wound up while I was there, though, going from technician to supervisor. And then after I was a supervisor for, I don't know, about 7-8 months or so, I wound up seeing a job posting that the amount of money that I was going to get paid per hour was more than what my salary was as a supervisor. Just go back turning wrenches, but do it in beverage. So I went ahead and did that, went to work for Bang Energy, and started at that plant going in for the energy drinks. I realized that was, I didn't know it going in, I found out afterwards, but it was the first canning plant that Bang was actually having, even though their energy drinks had been on market for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Everything in the beverage industry was co-packed. They all had co-packers that did all the work for them. They just made the ingredients and stuff. That's all that they did. And I found out in beverage that is way more common than I would think.
I talked to a gentleman a while back, and he works for Coca-Cola, and I mean, one of the oldest plants for Coca-Cola. So, I mean, talking with him and just him laying it out and seeing all the stuff that's entailed and how the process works and how much how many cans and how many bottles they're cranking out, straight from that piece of aluminum or that, piece of plastic that they blow up and make into our Coke cans. I'm a huge Coke fan anyway. So, it was, and then now you speak of Bang, I remember going to Mr. Olympia when Bang was first coming out and everything else. I mean, it was the amount of people and sponsors, and Bang came out banging. I mean, they were everywhere. It was very impressive to see that as the consumer, just how big they went from year to year. Because I went a couple of years in a row to Olympia, and for whatever reason, they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was phenomenal. I mean, it was fun to watch, So that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
they were growing real quick when I wound up getting in there as a startup and stuff. The line that we put together, the plant, each line was running 1,758 cans a minute. So
1,700. See, and
they're
the Coke plant was telling me they're cranking out 1,300 a minute. Or no, 1,800. I can't remember. 1,300 or 1,800 a minute of the
18,
Coca-Cola cans.
like 12-ounce size.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 1900 for 12-ounce size. These were 16-ounce cans.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah, you got the bigger ones. Right.
for the filler to put the juice in. But after working there, I wound up seeing that Nikola was starting up and they were down the road. COVID hit. I wanted to get out of the city and away from people, because when you get a panic set or a pandemic going on, people get real stupid real quick. So
They absolutely do.
me, her, and the kids, and we're going to get away from all of it.
Yep.
And Nikola was out in the more of a rural area.
Okay.
It's about an hour and a half south of where I was living at the time. So I did the commute for probably about 6-7 months that I was driving 84 miles one way.
Oh man, yeah.
Then we wound up finding a place that was out there, moved out closer to there. And then after we got out of the city, I was like, we ain't ever moving back to the city. I'm just done with it.
I live out in the country, like I just said. Oklahoma, small town. But so Ponca City, where Centerline, my company's at, is about 25,000 people. The town that I actually live in is called Burbank, Oklahoma, not California. And
Mhm.
we've got 155. Not 1,000, just 155. So, and I think they're counting dogs, cats, cow, whatever. I mean, I think they're counting every living thing out there. So we're a small town.
They extended city limit so that they can include more people into it.
Yeah.
I mean, Morton keeps trying to push up to 1,000. They still haven't broken 1,000 yet. Last time I checked.
Good. Yeah, small towns are just nice. I mean, I in my opinion, they're the best just for the fact of, it's I don't know, you don't have to deal with all the crazies and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so to get back a little bit on track here, you're managing with the glass company now, and you're doing maintenance and all that stuff. Is that right?
Yes, maintenance manager.
So when you've got a down situation or a down machine, what is are you guys more of a reactive company? So in other words, when something goes down, you kind of react and fix it or whatever else, or do you guys have like a preventative maintenance procedure in place to help mitigate or not have those situations?
Both.
Both.
So we have our CMMS program getting set up and fine-tuned right now. We're building more of a preventative. I just ordered tools to do a predictive so that we can start doing infrared stuff. We've actually been piloting a vibration analysis system in our equipment to help us with predicting those failures before they happen. So we are doing a lot of that sort of stuff, but it's all new to the team. It's not stuff we've been doing for a long time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's all part of trying to get the ball rolling and all that good stuff. I mean, it's it is what it is. With that being said, when your main critical machines or whatever else are you using, I know you're dealing with glass and everything else, and you're doing the cutting. Are those your CNC machines that are cutting that and all that, or how are you guys
There,
cutting those?
it kind of works the same as a CNC. It's got a rail system that it rides along, and all it does is scores the glass, similar to like if you were cutting drywall. You don't cut all the way through it; you just score it a
Right,
little, then you can
right.
snap. Glass is the
Okay.
same. But for the precision, so that you have a good straight line, we have to do that with basically a CNC machine that goes over the type of it. Our equipment is Lysic, is the manufacturer that we
Okay.
got equipment from. They have other competitors, and there's some of our plants that have Hegla systems. It's just the one that I'm at that has the Lysic system.
Okay.
But there are multiple options for the cutting side on that. The tempering side for the furnaces, it's basically a roller conveyor that runs it through an extremely hot couple of bays of ovens, and then it cools it off. Is
Hmm.
short version of it. There's a lot of time and work that gets spent into that, because you're talking about 100 rollers going through that furnace, all of them being ceramic and stuff like that. You can't have anything sit idle for too long, otherwise it'll warp. You can melt
Right,
it.
right, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're dealing with something that's pliable at that point, and once you've got it heated up, I mean, yeah, it can go whichever way.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's a lot that we have to do as far as greasing bearings and stuff like that while it's running, checking monitorings, rewrapping Kevlar rollers, just to make it so that nothing sticks to that roller, because if you put the glass straight onto metal, you're going to damage it. And then like with our grinding systems and stuff like that, all of our Bavoni equipment, it just cleans up the edges, polishes it, makes it
yeah.
so it's a much smoother finish for the install.
Right.
We got water jets that'll go ahead and cut out all of the spots for the bolt hole to through, and it's just high pressured water that blows through. Relatively simple concept on it. Doing the maintenance on it, we schedule the OEM guy to come out once a year just to make sure that we in it. You know, you have the guy that was real good at it. He goes ahead and goes to a different company. Well, now what do you do? So,
Right. Yeah.
in case anybody didn't get that information, you bring the OEMs back in and have them kind of give you a health check to make
Right.
sure you're still touching all the bases that you need to and stuff like that. We have a couple of those scheduled to be done fairly soon, and then we have
Okay.
that we're working on getting on the schedule.
That's awesome.
But I just came into the glass industry and started doing this job back in October. So I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
even this one for a super long amount of time or anything, but it's been, I mean, there was definitely some spots of the equipment that hadn't been getting touched like they should have been.
Mhm.
And bringing all of that back up to speed, it had some challenges. We had some downtime. We worked through all of them. And then after we would get through the downtime, we would go through basically like your 5 whys, your fishbone diagram, stuff like that, your RCA. But we would figure out exactly where the downtime occurred, what we could have done to prevent it, and then kind of revisit it and make sure that we put that stuff in place for the future. We've been building our PM program to make it so that we have less of that downtime. There always becomes the challenge of, are you going to allow production to run, or are you taking the equipment down for a PM? And you know, production always wins that argument. They're going to
Yeah,
run.
no kidding. Yeah, yeah. That's no lie.
And realistically, the equipment, when it says it's done, is going to tell you that you're getting the downtime whether you like it or not. So
That ain't no lie, right? So outside of your work, what do you do for a hobby? I mean, you said now that you're living in a small town and all that good stuff. What do you do? What do you do in small town Arizona? I mean, I've never been to Arizona, believe it or not. I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to check out Arizona. Everybody always talks about it and boasts about it, how wonderful it is and all that good stuff. And I mean, I've been all over the world. However, I've never been to Arizona. So what do you do in small town Arizona?
So currently I live in Arizona City, which town population there I think is in the 10,000 range
Okay.
ish. Casa Grande is like 10 minutes up the road on the freeway. and it's got like a town population of like 55,000. So, there's movie theater and stuff if you
So
want.
you're not too far away from civilization, I mean, I use the quotations as a yeah, over exaggeration.
Well, when I was growing up in Washington State, Morton was the furthest from a mall or a Walmart or anything along them lines. It was about an hour drive, and I wasn't even the furthest one out.
Yeah.
But with where I'm at now, it's 15 minutes, and I'm at, any of that sort of stuff. And if I really need to go to a big city with where I'm located, I'm halfway in between Phoenix and Tucson.
Yeah.
So
That's same us here too. We're 2 hours away from, I mean, if you make it a 2 hour radius, you're in downtown of either Tulsa, Wichita, Kansas, or Oklahoma City. So I got 3 big old cities that within 2 hours I'm there, depending on how fast I'm driving or what I'm driving. It might be an hour and a half.
Well, I mean, weather can make an impact on that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Oklahoma we can't handle weather no matter what,
No.
A
little bit of wind and it turns into a whole bunch real quick.
Yeah, here it's the rain or snow or I mean it any type of weather other than heat. Oklahoma is just like it's like panic comes out, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, Josiah, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on here today and chatting with me real quick about our good old maintenance and what we do and how we do it. It's always neat to talk to people and find out the different things that people do and how they do it. I mean, glass, we take a lot of these things for granted, just because, well, we're living in the buildings, we're looking out of them through our lenses, or it's on our TV or whatever else. But you never actually think about, wait a minute, there's people actually out there that have to make this stuff for us. So, thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you joining me and talking about it and all that good stuff. So, yeah, again, we can reach you through LinkedIn. Is that correct? And the company that you're working for currently is, I forgot again.
Oldcastle Building Envelope. Oldcastle, one word, Building Envelope, one word.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you joining me, and we'll definitely see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Maintenance and Manufacturing Insights with Martin Angster. Want to be featured on the show? Head over to maintenancemanufacturinginsights.com/guest to apply and share your story with the industry.